Hey Norm, CarQuest
What?
2015 starts now.
What is this?
This is a BMW i3. The fine folks at BMW of San Francisco loaned it to me for the weekend as part of the i3 extended test drive. And I've been driving it since Friday and wanted to make a video to tell you guys at home what it's like. So this is the BMW i3. They loaned us the range extender version to test drive this weekend, but basically it's BMW's all-electric car. While you can get one with a gas motor, it's a small gas generator. It's not connected to the drivetrain at all. All it does is fills the batteries and generate enough power to drive if you make an all-electric vehicle mistake and run out of juice when you're far from home.
It looks so futuristic.
It looks like a future car, and it kind of sounds like a future car too. The thing that I liked about this is it's a little bit sportier than your typical electric. We'll talk about that when we get into it. But we can walk around here. Should we open it up so you
Sure
see the
thing.
inside? Okay, so it has suicide doors. It actually has 4 seats.
Weird.
It's suicide doors, and it opens all the way on both sides. So like, we were able to get a car seat in, put the munchkin in the back seat, no problem.
Whoa, wait, that's not closing.
It doesn't close without the back door closed. And there's no way to open the back door from the back seat, which also is kind of a bonus if you have kids. They're trapped back there.
So you close that first.
And then, well, you could also flip the seat forward a little bit. So like, there's plenty of room in the back seat. I actually rode in the back with Gina driving me around earlier this weekend and was pleasantly surprised. I also like that there's no frame around the windows. They just get out of the way.
Huh. So you can roll down the windows in the front, but this is locked.
These are fixed. There's no place to put the glass, basically. So,
Got it.
Okay, so going around, this is the charger port. This one is equipped with this is the normal 240 volt thing that's super common for electric cars. You can get this free in like San Mateo County. You just pull up and plug in. This thing down here is the DC fast charge port, which basically will let you top off the battery in a very short period of time, like an hour or so.
So let's talk about range and time to charge.
So 75 miles range.
That's pretty good.
71 miles range, sorry. With the gas, that adds an extra 50 or 60 miles. Depends on how you drive, obviously. If you really get into the accelerator, your 70 miles are going to be 25 or 30 miles. You can really eat up the battery. This DC supercharge thing, the fast charge thing, is actually pretty expensive right now. You can't get them at home that I'm aware of. And when you pull up someplace that offers them, the ones that I've seen and have priced out are $5 to pull up and then 10 cents a minute. It only takes 20 or 30 minutes to get this to 80%. Right. So it's going to happen fast, but like that's not the way you're going to charge on a day-to-day basis. The way you're going to charge is with the top guy. Okay, so trunk space. It's a hatchback. The gas motor is back here. Again, it's just a generator. It doesn't connect to the powertrain. You can kind of see, like you put oil in, you do all the maintenance for it back here. You can't control when it turns on and off. So it turns on when you get below 6% battery. And then turns back off when it doesn't need it anymore.
And it's enough space to store an electric unicycle.
It holds an electric unicycle. The seats fold down flat, so like I don't think you'd be able to get say a mattress or something in here. You could put maybe a twin bed, maybe a small chair. You're not going to fit a couch in this thing. It's a small car.
Big enough for luggage.
Big enough for luggage to go to the airport for sure. And you can do both sides independently, and it fits a car seat with one of the sides folded down, which is nice because my current car doesn't do that. Okay, Norm, so the last thing is the front trunk.
Yeah, so if the engine's in the back, what's underneath this tiny hood?
Well, mostly my feet, it turns out. But also there's a front trunk. They call it the frunk.
Just like Tesla.
A marketing person came up with that, I'm sure. This is where you store like the tire repair kit. I think these are run flat tires. There's different options for tires. I don't know which ones they gave me on this car. And then this is the 120 volt charger. So you can plug this into most any wall outlet. If it's not grounded, it's going to complain. Like I was able to plug it into a wall outlet in my garage, and it'll charge the whole car from 0 in about 20 hours.
20
so that takes
hours.
a long time.
Right. You're obviously, that's a last resort.
Let's talk about that once we get in the car and go for a drive, because I have some thoughts after using it for a while.
All right. Let's go driving.
And we're off, Norm. So this is the second electric car I've driven at length. The first one was the smart car, the Mercedes smart car last year. And I've done some test drives and some other stuff, but this is the most time I've spent driving a pure electric ever, and it's been an interesting experience. 70-mile range. I drive about.
That last electric car was real scary, by the way.
This
smart car was super scary. We got on the freeway, tried to punch it.
So you want to get on the freeway?
And so let's get on the freeway. Let's do that first test. It's a BMW. They make, quote unquote, the ultimate driving machine.
Do you want spoilers? Do you want me to tell you how this is going to go for you? Because I can ruin it, or you can experience it live.
I want to experience it live.
Okay.
Let's take it on the freeway. We're also going to try to run the battery down as low as we can. Yeah. You said it has about a 71-mile range for the battery, and when it's around 6%, it will kick in to the gas.
So the idea with all of these cars, these low-end pure electrics, the ones that basically aren't the Tesla or the BMW i8, or that cost less than $100,000, is that it's a commuting car. It's a car for people who drive less than 50 or 60 miles a day, round trip, all the driving they do, and then most of the rest of the time it just sits in their garage. So this is not a car for taking long trips. 75 miles, even with the fast charge, you're not going to want to drive 300 miles with it. It'll make you crazy.
It is comfortable.
It's a surprisingly comfortable little car. It has lots of headroom, which I liked.
All right, so we're getting on the freeway right now.
I'm going
to ask you to punch it.
You ready?
Hold on. Let's get onto the straightaway first.
There's a Charger passing me.
Oh. Punch it! Yes.
So it actually accelerates.
We're at 60.
And when you
64.
Get to 75, 80 miles an hour, it's not terrifying like the smart car was.
Well, it's not. It doesn't feel like it's going to fall apart.
It's not like the smart car is shimmied. So even though we have these little narrow tires on this thing, the suspension for this is tuned so that it rides a lot better. Now it's complaining because I'm going way faster than the speed limit. This car knows what the speed limit is where you are.
I don't like that. Give him my freedoms. This Charger is still in front of us.
Yeah, should I pass him?
Yes. Yeah, see if we can pass cars safely. And we're now going at speeds I'm not going to talk about out loud on camera.
Please don't. Don't show them on the camera, Joey.
Pass this Lexus. Pass the Charger.
And we're not shimmying. It doesn't feel like we're out of control.
Very good.
Now, getting into the gas is going to really destroy your your fuel economy, your electricity economy, or your kilowatt hours per mile.
So we'll also want to feel if this is accurate, because when I got in the car, it said about 37 miles left, and now it says 34. So obviously we were driving inefficiently, so that knocked off 3 miles in about a quarter-mile stretch right there.
Exactly. You're going to get, there's an optimal way to drive. The car coaches you to drive better. If you romp on the gas, it gives you a warning. It says, hey, you might be accelerating too hard, buddy. If you stomp on the brakes, it says, hey, you're probably accelerating too hard. You can even go into the vehicle settings, and it has a thing in the eDrive system, which is where all the computer stuff is, and it analyzes your driving style. I got to be in Eco Pro mode. So there we go. It'll tell us now. In Comfort, there's 3 modes: Comfort, Eco Pro, and Eco Pro Plus, I think. The Plus is for city driving. It complains when you get going faster than 55, 60 miles an hour. You can't turn the air conditioning or the seat heaters on, but that's the way you maximize the battery range. The other way you maximize the battery range is to actually use the cruise control. So it has, it's smarter cruise control than I've seen before.
Oh boy.
We don't test a lot of cars, but it actually has a camera up here in the rearview mirror housing that tracks the cars in the lane in front of you. And it'll slow down and stop and accelerate all on its own if you let it.
Oh my God!
So,
can we do that on the freeway?
Yeah, we can do it. We can do it on street roads if you want. We can get crazy.
Let's do this on the freeway.
I set the cruise control to 80. Okay. It sees the car in front of us and it's going 60 miles an hour, maintaining the distance that I set. If I want to close that up a little bit, it'll get closer.
And right now I'm looking at your feet. Your feet are not touching.
I'm not touching the gas.
The gas, or the brake. But you are obviously using steering. And it's adjusting our speed. We're at about 64 miles per hour right now. So what happens when that car leaves the lane in front of us?
It'll speed up, yeah.
Okay, so this car in front of us is about to change lanes.
I think that other car will be in the range by the time we get there.
Is it just looking at our lane, or is it looking at...
It's looking mostly at our lane. It seems to be a little bit smart about adjoining lanes.
So definitely sped up right now.
So it's going 70 miles an hour.
70.
I'm going to set the cruise control back down to 70 because I don't want to get a ticket.
All right. And then it saw a car in front of us, so it slowed down.
And when I get over the lane up here, it's going to slow down again.
So it wants to maintain that distance.
So this works on streets too, like on surface streets. Driving up 19th where it's stop and go, I actually found myself using this fairly regularly. You still have to pay really close attention because it does, it overcorrects sometimes, so it'll hit the brakes when it doesn't necessarily need to. The reason you have this and the reason it works like this on this car is because the way the gas pedal works is unusual in my experience with other cars. So even with other pure electrics, when I'm going to turn the cruise control off. When you take your foot off the gas, it immediately starts aggressively recharging.
That's like the Tesla.
I don't know.
Yeah, the Tesla. Once you let go of the gas, it's a hard stop.
Okay.
It's regenerating.
So then this works the same way. Like I'm not hitting the brake yet.
The guy in the front is braking.
Yeah.
And it slowed us down to 30.
Right. This is with the cruise control off. Just to be clear.
Got it.
But when you're stop and go, that was me taking my foot off the brake, and it slows immediately, as if you hit the brake.
Yep.
So, and you'll come all the way to a stop if you give it enough of a runway. And I think that the thing that they do is they tweak that software, that slowdown period, to encourage you to coast to a stop and anticipate stops to get the most battery out of it.
Right.
So the other thing to think about is I don't know what the brake light situation is with this car when you take your foot off the gas. I would assume that when it starts to brake suddenly, the brake lights are going to come on. I haven't been able to figure out how to test that, without having another car chasing me. So, just be aware, and I tend to brush my foot on the brake just to make sure that people behind me know I'm going to be stopping.
All right, so what other testing are we doing with this car?
Well, let's go find that steep hill again and see what we can do going up and down the hill with this guy.
All right, I know that the steepest street in San Francisco is Bradford above Tompkins.
Okay.
So let's enter that in the nav. So this is not a touchscreen.
It's not a touchscreen. Don't touch the screen, Norm.
All right.
You can do voice input and all that kind of stuff just as you would expect. But you can also
Is that
just
a cursor?
write on a touchscreen.
Ah. So you can either rotate a dial or use a touchpad. Bradford. You're looking for the city right now.
Oh, it's looking for the city. Okay.
And are you swiping back as if...
I'm swiping back.
There it goes. San Francisco.
Okay.
Can you select that?
Yep. I went the wrong way. You try.
All right.
You got to make the cross on the A. It's not like Jot or whatever.
Oh, it sees Bradford.
Okay. So now
So I can hit
rock
left.
over.
Rock over.
It's a 5-way D-pad, basically, with a touch screen on top, and it has a knob that you can twist.
Wait a minute.
Okay, so we want to get right there. That's it. And, it's all the normal nav stuff. It uses Google Maps, which I thought was quite nice. This doesn't use CarPlay or Google's thing. It uses a BMW developed its own thing. But it does do live traffic. It does, assuming your phone's connected to it, it's connected to the internet. It does live traffic and all that kind of jazz.
And that's through a wireless connection or a wired connection?
It'll do Bluetooth, or right now it's plugged into a USB connection to my phone.
So your iPhone plugging USB into the car, and it's pulling data from that for traffic.
Seems like it. I mean, it may have its own cellular modem. I'm not sure, but yeah.
About right.
So the other thing to mention about this car is it rides pretty rough compared to most of the other electrics that we've tried. Not necessarily compared to the smart car, but it rides more like a sports car. It's got a tighter suspension. The turning is tighter. You have to work a little bit more actively to keep it in the lane. Is one of the things I noticed when you're on the freeway. It's not a necessarily smooth riding car. And when we're on a bumpy road like this, you definitely feel the road.
I mean, there's also a lot of finish here. Like this, I don't know, it probably is optional, but it's a wood finish. But then there's also this material on the side I see.
Yeah, so the whole car's body, all the panels and everything are made of carbon fiber to reduce weight. So one of the ways that you can go about, getting better mileage in a car is to cut out all the excess weight. And so instead of using aluminum or steel or whatever for the sides of the car, it's all carbon fiber.
And it's
inside
exposed.
and out. And it's exposed. It's a design accent, which I kind of like. This is for what it's worth, this particular model is the one that they list as well-equipped when you're leasing the car. So this is the default upsold version, not the cheapest possible version.
All right, here we are at the steepest hill in San Francisco, Bradford, above Tompkins.
It's not even on the map. It's so
It's not.
steep.
That's right.
So there's two things to note. One is that the car is supposed to, when you take your foot off the brake, hold the car in position so that you don't have to do 2 foot to take off on stuff like this. I'm going to try that for the first time right now.
Okay.
And it totally did it. Okay, so I'm not going to get into it real hard. This is the first time we've gone up this. It doesn't seem to be having any problem at all.
No problem whatsoever.
A little worried it's going to bottom out there.
Oh.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, there we go. No issues.
41% grade.
41% grade.
Now see if you can, how many point turn. Let's get out of this.
Oh, this will be no problem.
There goes the rear mirror.
It has the detection stuff on both sides.
Very good.
As well as
look at this map.
red is I'm close. So this is the car. And the yellow is when it starts beeping. Gold is when it goes crazy.
So it has sensors in the front and the back, and distance. Oh, there you go. Ooh.
Doesn't look that way. But we made the turn. One of the things that's worth mentioning about this car is I kind of think you want to get the nav system in one of these electric cars because of two reasons. One is it knows what your range is, so it'll warn you when you want to zoom out and see how far you can go on the battery that you have.
Is it a radial map?
Too far.
You can't go around the globe.
I can't go around the globe. But it does give you a highlighted area. So that white highlighted area is where it thinks I can get on the single charge that I have, including the gas tank. The other thing is it'll route you in what it feels are more efficient ways. So I assume it looks at things like elevation and relative speed of the highway and stuff like that. And you can take the scenic, but maybe not quite as hilly and not quite as battery draining mode. The same time, it also will tell you where local chargers are. So you can see, you go to points of interest and go down here to charging stations, and it'll connect to your phone, look on the internet, and find stuff along the route that you're moving on right now. But you can see which it even goes so far as to tell you what kind of charging is available, which provider they are, a phone number you can call if you need to sign up, et cetera, et cetera. That's pretty good. And I think pretty important if you're going to drive one of these things on a day-to-day basis.
All right, what next?
Well, Norm, have you ever driven in a car that parks itself?
No.
You want to do that today?
Let's do that right now. There's a spot right there.
Well, I'll circle around. Look, this is
Right
an
here.
easy spot.
That's an easy spot.
Too easy.
Too easy. Is it going to
There's
parallel
one right
park
there.
itself? All right.
So when you're looking for a parking space, you press a button down here that tells the car, hey, I'm looking for a parking space. And then it uses sonar on either side of the car to find a space. When it finds one, it'll tell you, oh, I think that's good. This one's even better.
That's a good space right there.
Okay. Then you stop the car, put the turn signal on. You're personally accountable for any mistakes the car makes. It's not BMW's problem. Take your hands off the wheel and press and hold the park button.
Oh boy.
And then you let off the brake. And then, if everything goes well,
Oh boy.
it does its thing.
Oh, the robots.
This is how we all die. This is a big space. I could probably put it into that space too.
No, you could not.
The nice thing is, well, I couldn't. The nice thing is, the car actually monitors both sides.
You're on the curb.
I know.
You're on the curb, Will.
The machine's doing it.
Oh my God. I don't know about this. You're definitely on the curb straddling the line.
Wow, that was bad.
Parking maneuver cancel.
Yeah, so I've done it about 5 times. 2 have failed now.
Oh boy.
So either the curb was too low and it didn't detect it,
That's
which may have been
exactly
the case
what
here,
happened.
or whatever else the reason was. I've had problems a couple of times. So, like, part of me thinks that a car that's this size, has this kind of wheelbase, and the wheels at the very front end of the car, you don't need automatic parking on. On the other hand,
You're not going
it's
to go fit in that
kind of
one.
fun. I don't think I can fit in that one either, but I can fit in that one back there. This is a normal looking space. Okay, I take responsibility. I hit the button, take my hands off the steering wheel, press and hold the PDC button. Oop, stop vehicle. Gotta press and hold the PDC button, then let off the brake.
All right.
Important.
Should be plenty of space right here.
This is a pretty big space for this size car.
Now it's also detecting on your left side.
I think it turns that stuff off once it starts parking.
Uh-oh.
So that's part of the personal responsibility.
Oh, no.
That was bad. Okay, 0 for 2 on parking today. You wanna try it again?
I think that's it.
Yeah, let's not destroy the car.
Oh boy.
It seems optimistic.
We'll call automated parking inconclusive.
Beta. Yeah. I am not a huge fan of the automated parking. And like I said, I think it's ridiculous for this size car. If you can't parallel park this thing, you shouldn't be allowed to drive. I mean, look, I can put it in that space, right? No, maybe not that space.
All right, so that's our test drive of the BMW i3. You've had it for a full weekend on this loaner program. What do you think, Will? Is it a contender for your car quest?
Yeah, it's definitely a contender. I mean, so there's two knocks against it. One is that it's a lot more expensive than a lot of the comparable cars. Even on a lease, the Leaf still comes in way cheaper, both on the down payment and on the monthly price. It's also the least efficient of these that I've looked at. The reviews say that it gets about 3.6 kilowatt miles per kilowatt hour, which is the metric people use. The Leaf does substantially better than that. You have to really abuse the Leaf to get to that point. So, you know, I'm a little, I don't know. I love the suicide doors. I love that it has the big back seat. I love that the seats fold down in the back. And I love that it feels like a fun car instead of like a sensible car. But it's priced like a fun car as well. So there we go. I'll drive some more cars. We'll talk about it on the podcast if we don't do more videos. What do you think, Norm? You've been in it for an hour now.
I think I want to puke.
Too bouncy?
It's a very bouncy car.
It rides like a sports car.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.